All right, it is June 19th, and I am finally getting around to spreading a little seed. I'm gonna overcoat this pond field and down here along the woods where they go. There's some bare spots, there's some wet spots, and the places that hadn't grown where I had the excavator earlier in the month, just gonna go ahead and hand seed that, and possibly out where the cows are now, because they'll be able to churn some of this in. And I've got a mix of Japanese millet, which is a wet season, warm season annual that should just thrive. And you can plant it in July and be able to graze it twice in the summer. So I'm hoping by planting in the mid-June, we'll at least in our climate get 2 grazings out of it. Japanese millet is sometimes referred to as barnyard grass because it's the grass that tends to grow in those little areas around your barn where you might turn cows out more often. It gets churned. It's an annual. It loves a hot season. I haven't seen it yet up. We do have it in our barnyard, and also by the summer house. There's some little patches of it that are kind of come back every year. I mean, yeah, it grows, it sets seeds, it drops, it comes back. It's that adaptable and that fertile, I guess. It just grows. It can grow from just seeds scattered on the soil. So it's good in that it's got high this particular improved variety is highly digestible, high protein. So I thought that would be good to try down here. I've also thrown in let's see, there's about half of this is Japanese millet, half is a mix of white clover, red clover, and a particular white clover called Renovation, which is good for overseeding on disturbed soil without burying it. And it's also a matting type white clover, highly digestible. One of the better clovers, that particular variety is one of the new improved varieties, better at fixing nitrogen. So it's got clover, vetch, daikon radish, so you get that taproot growing down, loosening the soil, and then some regular field turnip. That'll give a couple of crops. It'll grow. The cows can eat the leaves a couple of times, and then if the bulbs grow, they can eat those in the fall. So I've got about half a mix of that, plus mixed in a bunch of oat and pea seed. That's my tried and true traditional quick overseed a disturbed section, because it grows well, hot, cool. It persists. Sometimes you can get 3 grazings out of it. It can grow fast and really add some biomass and some energy and something for the cows to graze. So I'm going to overseed, just walk along with my handy dandy little spinner and just overseed, whereas as long as I got a 5-gallon bucket full of seed, and as much as I can tolerate walking. And today, right now, it's supposed to rain later. It's kind of overcast today. There's no wind. It's a perfect day for this. And then that's basically how all of these fields down here in the forest were sown. Was just me scattering seed on top of soil. After the pigs had been in, after I'd leveled it out with the skid steer, whatever. And they've come up well. So we're gonna give this a shot and hope that some of this millet takes hold fast and grows in the spaces in between the other grasses. I'm not worried about it out competing the other grasses. The other grasses are well established. If they remain short, then in the cool season, again, these are warm season annuals, so in July and August when it's hot, they'll really grow well, and then coming back end of August into September and October, our regular stands of cool season grasses will take over. And so I'm just nervous that the cool season grasses, it's supposed to be in the upper 80s and 90s next week. That will just stall the cool season grasses. They go from about a 15 to 20 day recovery rate all the way to 45 days to regrow. It slows them down that much. And so we've got to have something coming out in front of the cows. And who knows what this summer is going to do. Is it going to be super wet more? Or is it we're gonna have a drought at the end of the summer like we've had for the last 5 or 6 years? I'm not so worried that the drought is going to be droughty this year because of the amount of moisture held in the soil, and also the quality of the soil that I've built up here is more sponge-like, so it's the deep and it holds the water, which is part of the problem with the poaching in the field up there. But also I think, but it's going to be the heat. Now we're facing, now we are facing too much rain, too much heat. At times, so what will happen to our cool season grasses and our normal forages this year? I want to cover my bets. I am, let's see, it's Friday morning. I'm milking cows. I'm going to get Trixie, who just calved, her little bull calf Percy. Come on, Trix. And we put her in at night just because Allison's gone and it's just easier. So she feeds Percy at night, and we milk her during the day and let her out with the cows during the day. We're only able to do this because she's the only cow calving, or we still have Io and Demeter, but the only newborn calf is Percy, so we're not set up to do it any other way when there's more cows calving and more calves. So this works fine in the summer, but not generally in the spring and winter. Manure. So I made the decision to buy some silage to feed the cows to gain some time for the field to regrow because of the compaction, because of all the moisture. Grass growth has just stalled. And I've forced them to eat half a day longer in the forest than they really want to. It's coming up on noon. I thought the silage would be here by now. I had to get it delivered because we don't have a truck. So I'm getting ready. I gotta go cut hay today, silage. But I thought I would take time to sharpen. These are the knives for the baler that chop the grass. I took them out the other day when I just checked the baler to get it to test it, because it's much easier to troubleshoot if the hay isn't all chopped up. And I only put in half the knives because the baler was damaged before I bought it, so only half the knives go in. It works great. I was really impressed with how the bales fed out this past year. So I thought I took them out. The bales baled fine. I made 4 nice bales. I'm going to put them back in today when I go over to mow, so that I can chop tomorrow, because now that I have the knives, I really don't like unchopped bales. They're just harder to feed out. The cows waste more, and the bales aren't as dense. So with the chopped bales, the grass packs in better and makes a better quality bale, even with only half the knives in. So I'm taking time while I'm waiting for the silage to show up to feed, to sharpen the knives and tackle a few other things. I'm gonna go actually and seed where the cows are grazing right now. I want to throw a bunch of Japanese millet and oats and peas in there. Maybe by then the silage will show up and I can go mow. So silage got dropped off while I was out cutting hay, and this is I didn't get to talk to the farmer who I buy it from. This is a different kind of silage than I put up. So our silage is wrapped 100% into the white marshmallows, the bales. This silage is put up in long tubes, and so one end is exposed, and on the very outside end of each end of the tube is capped off with a layer of this plastic. But once it's open, it starts spoiling. And I already feel that inside here, the end is starting to heat up, where inside the center where it's still wrapped is cool. So hopefully I'm gonna try wrapping just the outer 2 bales, and then I'll stack them in a line. The inner 2 will spoil less. The outer 2 I'll use last. I just want to see if this will work. The only problem is Wayne's bales aren't packed as densely as mine. The Kloss baler just does such a great job packing them. So these are a little bit squodgy. And they're also not cut. So they may... dang it, the rope, plastic broke. I also don't have the wrapper attached to the tractor because I'm just trying this to see what happens. Okay, well, that was an unmitigated failure, and I don't feel like the need to continue. There is the bale all squodged out off the back of the wrapper. I'm just going to unhook the tractor, leave this mess. I will have the wrapper out of here tomorrow to wrap the bales that I just mowed the hay for today. So the grass, I just mowed the grass for today. So when that's out of here, I will move that bale. Wrapping these bales is not practical. They're just too loose. Yeah, it's just that much difference between whatever style baler he uses and the baler we have. Our baler packs them better. So Trixie, I just saw Trixie come up, so I'm gonna go put her in with her calf and make sure she has some silage. Well, milking time, and cows have all come up out of the forest, so that's a good thing. And they're all tucking into the silage, which is a good thing too, because previously when they've been out on grass and I brought them in to feed them in the barn, they didn't want to go anywhere near the food, and they've been hungry rather than eat what I gave them or eat there was nothing on the pasture. So I'm happy to see them eating the silage. Heifers are going to take, the heifers are being run out, so they're going to have to get used to how to fill in and get in those. They don't know about the headstocks, and they don't know how to navigate. Like Mabel will eat what's right in front of her, and then as soon as she thinks something tastier is next to her, she'll go for that. Now, this slab still isn't done. The people we hired to do it a month ago promised to come do it next week, pissing me off because it could be easier to feed this silage to the cows now and have them in off a pasture so they can recover. Lottie's already moving around hunting and pecking for the best thing. They don't just get that they could just stay where they are and eat their fill. But anyway, so the reason we're feeding silage, the reason I bought silage, is the grass growth has just fallen down. Nothing growing. It's just stalled. It's coming on in certain parts of the field, but I can't just graze here and there without impacting everything. So, and also spending a lot of time setting up temporary fences. So I've had them down in Trixie's wood and the coal field for 3 days now, which is 2 days more than I thought it would feed them. They went back. They were a little reluctant this morning to go back there, but they were down there all day apparently, and their rumens are mostly full. So they found something down there to eat. It's looking better. I am going to go down there. I didn't go down there today like I wanted to because they were headed out there and I didn't want to disrupt whatever they were going to do. Plus this wind and heat today and tomorrow may help dry it out a little more. And then I'll go in there and overseed it with millet, and that should really kick off and thrive in that area. They've eaten so much down and their hoofs are probably churn things up a bit too. So there should be a place for the millet to take hold and grow. I see the wind, really strong wind today. It came up out of nowhere and it's torn, knocked over bins and garbage pegs and stuff's blowing everywhere. I see some pig feed sacks across the field. That's not good. And a whole stack of cow feed bags are gone. So the wind obviously took them somewhere. It's gray and stormy, but it does show that we're not going to get rain. So fingers crossed. Yeah, so we're buying time for the grass to grow with feeding them silage. We're going to take a hit in milk I may have to boost their grain a bit because silage just is not that great. But what I may do is, let me get through the weekend. I'm going to get through a bale or two. I'm going to leave the pathway open. If they want to go down to the woods where they're at right now, they can have exercise and fresh air and whatever for the next couple days. And then I will assess the big field. And what I will probably do is allow them to graze half a day and then bring them in and feed them silage the other half at night probably. Although, yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work. Because right now with the calf pens all set up, there's nowhere for the cows to lay in the barn. They can lay in the lane as long as it's not raining. It's not supposed to rain for a week now. Maybe some rain Sunday. If there's no rain Sunday, I gotta cut a hay field for a neighbor, so I'd rather it not rain Sunday, Saturday night or Sunday. Anyway, I think we've got all the cows, so I'm gonna walk them in to the barnyard and go prep for milking. All right, it's been a thrash today. I started at 11 and got 10 bales. The little hay bob rake, no longer a fan of it. This field, this combination of fields is very bumpy this year because of all the compaction, because of all the non-fixing it for years now. And the hay bob does not like that. It missed a lot of hay. Finally, I gave up. It was taking me so long. It took me 3 hours to rake, and I was missing spots, and I just gave up and said I got to bail because I got to get this done before milking. I was expecting 17 bales, which is what this gave last year. But last year was more of a normal year. It wasn't wet. It was the appropriate temperatures. It was all the right things. So fingers crossed we get more on a second cut. I would dearly like to come back tonight and get urea spread because we're going to get rain tonight and tomorrow. But I don't think so because it's 5 o'clock now. I'm going to take these 5 bales home. And in fact, let's just get going. Yeah, lots of minor things have gone wrong today. Nothing major. Oh, I gotta go put down the thing on the, hang on, wing of the baler's open. So the tailgate issue on the baler seems to largely be resolved. Only had 2 minor issues with it, and that is because the field was so bumpy that the little sensor was being knocked away from the gate and saying that the gate was open. I had to bump the hydraulics a couple of times. Far better than it ever was even just the other day. I did hit a stone and sheared the shear pin on the intake feed of the baler. That was minor, just had to replace that shear bolt and got back up and going. Something bent and I can hear it clank, but otherwise that's okay. So happy with the baler. It tied. There was one issue with the string and it just didn't feed right for something and no biggie. But thrash, the fact that the rake's too small. It just doesn't make a big enough windrow, and I got to go around and around, cover everything twice to get half the coverage. And the windrows were too close together, so a couple of times I dumped bales out, and I had to skip a section to bale because the bales were too close together. I couldn't go between them to get the windrow between them. So that is the other fault of that little hay bob. And it's meant to be a second rake. I got rid of that one 1950s side delivery rake, the real rake, and it's not suited for wet grass. It really just, I was afraid I'd break it, and I ended up using the hay bob anyway. So I really need to get a rotary rake. Something that'll cover 3 of the mower swaths, about 14 feet, something like that. And we'd rake 3 swaths together. I'd have less strips across the field. It would feed the baler better. It would. There's probably a bale of grass left on the field, all said and done, in ways that I just couldn't collect because. Yeah, anyway, I didn't film any of it. I can't film any of this. I'm still by myself. I got to get back to the farm, drop these off, come back for the final 5 bales, and get them wrapped. And then I got to milk right away because it's getting late. Allison's going to be back late tonight from her trip. And I knew that. I thought she might be back for milking, but that was wishful thinking. I just need to get this done. I'm not happy that it's only 10 bales. That kind of sucks. 17 last year. I don't know how to account for those 7 bales because I've been fertilizing the fields. So, and it was thick. It seemed to me one of the heavier crops. Now what I didn't do last year, and I've been doing a little bit more religiously this year. Oh shit, I'm in 4-wheel drive. Take that out. I've been measuring the grass, so I know going into next year what kind of conditions there'll be compared to this year, but I didn't do it last year. I got lazy, and anyway. It is what it is. I'm just going to have to keep pressing on and mow and bale every field I can. Now, it's supposed to be bad tomorrow. It's supposed to rain overnight and into the morning and then dry off. And then we've got 3 hot, dry days. Now, it was hot and windy yesterday, very windy after I mowed this. And it was pretty dang hot, close to 80 degrees today. So, damn people on the road. Don't want to hit them with the forks. So yeah, this is more like hay and not silage, but it's beautiful stuff. Cured really nicely. But I'm going to wrap it anyway because I don't know where to store hay, and this is probably still wet in places because I wasn't treating it for hay. So we're just going to get this back and get it done and then milk cows. Well, we're mowing hay. Over here at the neighbor's field, nice thick crop of grass, lots of clover. Kind of ashamed to be feeding it to horses and goats. Better for cows. Anyway, it is a healthy crop. Mower's doing a great job. Only problem is in places, I've got the mower tilted back a little bit to leave a little bit higher cut for faster regrowth. But in places where the crop has lodged or laid flat on the ground, that setting isn't getting under to cut it all, so kind of riding over the top of some of it, so there's a part of the field that's going to look a little weird, but there's nothing really I can do. I don't want to scalp everything, and I don't want to have to keep setting the mower. It's kind of a touchy setting. I have it dialed in pretty good for 90% of the field, so it's just going to be what it is in the lodged section. But we're going good. I've got I don't know, I got 2/3 of it dropped, and I've been at this since 2. I have no idea what time it is now. Yeah, it's looking good. And even more importantly, I think I've got the 3-point hitch control dialed in, so I'm not having to make a lot of micro adjustments. And also, I'm really happy that given the level of fertilization, they spread manure on it from the horses and the goats regularly with a little spreader, kind of like a daily spread thing. And it's looking really healthy. and it's not bleached out underneath. A lot of times when you cut really thick, tall crops, grass, the grass that's left underneath, it's bleached. It's got very little chlorophyll. It struggles to regain and regrow quickly because of the damp and the shading from the height of the grass that it grew. This stuff's every bit of 2 to 3 feet tall in places, but it's looking really nice underneath. So this ought to rebound really good and be able to be cropped for a second cut in about 45 days, I hope, if we get the rain. Now, a lot of times in July we don't get any rain, and so I'd be looking to cut this right about the first part of August. But also the heat slows things down, so it's a little bit hard to say what could happen, but there'll be a second cut in August, early August or August sometime, I think. If we have a drought, then sometimes it pushes on into September and we don't get a third cut, we only get a second cut. But if we had decent amount of rainfall in July, I'd be tempted to pull this off as a second cut and then come back for an even third cut, because we're on par for when I've cut this field each year. It's about this time, and so about the 22nd of June right now, so 18th to 20th 24th is typically when we've cut this. Now in 2023 it was so wet we only got one cut, and it wasn't until September, and even that was a crash because it was so wet. But I think it's going to be it's hot today, it's Sunday. It's going to be viciously hot Tuesday, upwards of 95 with high humidity. Don't really want to bale this on Tuesday, because I'm hoping, if all goes well with other fields, I will be baling some silage on Tuesday. Because we'll see when I finish this field. I might cut another field tonight before milking, if I can squeeze in a small 4 or 5 acre field later. I may just do that and bale it tomorrow rather than Tuesday, and that would give me the option of rolling this on Tuesday, because I think this stuff's going to cure real quick, and I hate to over dry it. But I also got to remember this is hay and not silage, so it's got to be nice and cured to go in a round bale. And I don't think, well, we'll see. I mean, I could roll it. I could come over early in the morning and rake it, and then try and get it baled before noon, before the heat really gets to it on Tuesday. Otherwise, I gotta leave it on Wednesday. And just hope for the best. But going really well. It rained last night a little bit, rained a little bit this morning, but it cleared right off by noon, and so I was able to get out here at 2. Flying right along, which is fantastic. I still have 2 of my local fields to cut, and then I've got the big set of fields away to cut. I got to arrange with my buddy Craig about those. That's probably going to be next week at the earliest. liking how this is all cut. Another day, another field mown. My plan had been to cut this field and come back and rake and bale it today. But I didn't get out here as early as I wanted to. God, look at this vetch. Vetch is just amazing. Beautiful plant. This field is loaded with it. It's nitrogen fixing, high in protein. Great for this field. This field was covered in vetch and clover this year. Grass was 4 or 5 feet tall in places. See a little bit, that patch down there, right there, that I didn't mow because it's soaking wet. The lower end of this field is a swamp. I had to avoid some of it. And so my plan had been to mow the field this morning earlier than this, come back, rake it, and then leave it wilt for a little bit, and then come bale it this afternoon. But I didn't get out here till 12:15. It's now 1:30. The field is so wet that not very far from here down there, there's standing water in between the windrows, the swaths, and it's, you know, with the baler, the mower's one thing. The baler weighs 3 times what the mower weighs. I know that I would be churning up the field worse than I did in a couple places. Down, there's a little section of the field over there that I mowed, but down at the bottom again, wet and right. You can kind of see the lumpy, bumpy bits. There's the point right there. I don't know, it's hard to see from here, and I'm not going to walk down there because I want to get out of here. There's just water in the rows. It's not so bad up here on the hill. I could probably take this top acre today, but why risk it? I don't want to get stuck. I got to bale hay tomorrow. So my thinking is leave this. Leave them. I mean, I could actually, honestly, I could come back and bale these swaths without raking it because they're so thick. And they're far enough apart. It will be a little close. The problem with the hay bob rake is it's making the windrows too close together. And so that when I release a bale, it's landing just up against 2 windrows. So it's no different than this. I could just come in here and bale it right out of the swaths. I don't know why not. Most of them are this thick or thicker. And that's every bit as good as a windrow that I've been baling. So I just don't think it's worth coming back today. The risk of getting stuck is too great. And digging in, I already did in places really get stuck, almost. Yesterday in that plowed field down there, I was told yesterday a farmer with a bigger tractor than mine, the farmer that farms that, got his big ass tractor stuck. It had to be pulled out by an even bigger big ass tractor. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of the condition here. It's damp up here where I have to turn. It's very wet right here. This starting to get pretty wet. I would be squadging in with the two deer just entered the chat down there, and I flushed one out when I was mowing here. Yeah, I think if I were to come back here now, I would just dig in and it would be a mess. So you can see right here the sort of wheel ruts I left there, a couple inches deep, but by dragging the baler across there, the heavy baler with a full 1-ton bale in it, would be even worse. So I'm just thinking that, and it's, you know, this is okay, but I really think today, it's 82 today, it's gonna be 90 tomorrow, 90 plus, 95, 98 maybe. I think you just leave this in the swaths, claim it as hay, and let the ground dry out. If it bakes out today and bakes tomorrow while I'm baling the hay that I cut yesterday, then Wednesday afternoon I could come down here after I mow another field and bale this. I think that's got to be the way to do it. And honestly, I'm not that upset about it. I would have liked to have come and gotten this today, but things were feeling a little rushed because I got a late start, and that's never good. I could probably bale 3/4 of what's down without issue. It's that quarter that would be the issue, and I don't want to break the baler because I got my buddy's hay to bale tomorrow, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna wait.